I am a non-Indigenous settler. However, I am a human being of the earth. I have had an attraction to the water since I was very, very young, along with nature. The water I have always found very, very healing, and went to it very often. I swam and swam when I was young. I was like a fish, always in the water, quite often having wrinkles. We swam from April until November. The only time we weren't in the water was when it was frozen. I love the rain. I always played in the puddles. The only time I wasn't outside was when it was thunder and lightning. I decided on a career choice of joining the Navy because I didn't have the marks that I required to go to school to be a doctor. In basic training, I learned very many valuable skills, and I went to Esquimalt, where I learned to be a naval signalman, and I became a proud member and crew member of the HMCS Gatineau, although not for very long. I was pushed out of the Canadian Armed Forces and the Navy due to being a whistleblower for abuse. So I journeyed home, very broken, and I found out that I was pregnant with my beautiful son. When he was born, I took him to Victoria, to Esquimalt, to see the ocean, because I felt that the water was very important to us both. When my children were young, I decided to stand up about my abuse, and I came forward in Maclean's magazine, which was one of the hardest things I had ever done. This led to years of suppression and hiding and trying to help others, but not really knowing how. As my journey kept going, my children became older, and I kept taking them to the water constantly, always. I took them to very special places for me, and I introduced them to the places that I always found special. Some places weren't the best, degradations in the world, like a mine. However, to me, they had deep meaning. It was very important for me, for my kids, to be able to see and feel the water at all times. When my mother passed a few years ago, we took her in a boat and gave her back to the water where she always wanted to be. On my honeymoon, I got to go and sail on a sailboat like I'd always wanted to do, because in the Navy I never did get to go to sea. I went back to Cornwallis, where I went to basic training, and then I got to see my best friend from the Navy. The water connection brought us back together. I found out about Standing Rock and how important water is, and pipelines, and what they can do to damage our beautiful earth. So I went to the protest in Toronto. I felt it was very important. I went with the people of Curve Lake First Nation because I realized how important water is to Indigenous people and how people don't see what they see. On my journeys, I always stop at the water. The water is very, very important to me. I talk to the water. I try to make it feel like it's important. I always enjoy the refreshness of the water and how it makes me feel. When I'm sad, I just go put my hands in it, or I put it in my hands and run it over my face. The ocean is so powerful. I went there again this summer. I got to sail again, and it was beautiful. Then we got to go whale watching. I was kind of nervous because I didn't really want to see the whales in their natural habitat and bug them. But it was one of the most beautiful experiences I had ever had, to be on the open water and see those beautiful creatures. I got to see a reenactment of the tall ships going up the Annapolis Basin. It was amazing because then we went and we saw Port Royal, which is actually the first settlement in Canada from 1605 that Champlain settled. My husband's Indigenous, and he didn't even know this place existed. We went to the Bay of Fundy, and then we went to Quebec, I love powerful, powerful water. It makes me feel so intense and so good. Peaceful water makes me heal. I go to it and I feel so much better. Water's such a reflection. We can see anything in it. We can create with it. Water is the only thing that exists in 3 states: a solid, a liquid, and a gas. Water can be peaceful and water can rage. Springs and ponds are very, very important to our environment, and people really don't care about them anymore. The water gives us so much beauty. Everywhere I go, I find the water. Sometimes in my travels, I end up getting lost. And where I end up is always at the water, and it's always so beautiful. I see many places, and they fill me with joy, but they fill me with sadness because people don't respect the water anymore. I see so much garbage. I see so much filth in the water, the pollution that does not belong there. I just want the water to be clean and heal and be healthy because it helps me so much. Water is what helps me. I've decided to assist this organization, Women's Warriors, with my knowledge of water and my knowledge of nature so that they can help assist other women, veterans, and abused women so that we can all heal. We can use the earth to heal, and we can give back to the earth so that it can realize how important it is. Our mother is everything to us. We need to acknowledge the earth and the water so that it can be here for our future generations. Our generations are coming and they are not knowing how important this is. Please help me.